Everyone, am I that? He's good looking. Yeah, I know I am. But the thing is, why is it so important?
I trust men more because they tell you right away what they want. For example, even if you have a boyfriend, they'll ask you out for dinner. Like, I'm not into that. Then, okay. For example, Selma Hayek, Donald Trump, when she had a boyfriend, he invited both of them out for dinner and then said, oh, you two should stay at my hotel, blah, blah, blah. And, if you want to stay at my hotel, I'd like to have both of your numbers. So they give him the phone number. After that, he only talked to the boyfriend that whole night. After that, he never talked to the boyfriend again, and he messaged Salma Hayek and said, I like to ask you out. She said, I have a boyfriend. He said, you know what? That boyfriend is not worthy of you. You deserve better. She still didn't go out with him, but yes, she went and got better. I'm not saying you should date Donald Trump. He's a poor example because he cheated on his wife. But it's so hard to find an example of a masculine celebrity who's also amazing to his children and this and that. Famous people, there's often something off with them because regular people, very few of them want to go in the spotlight and be that famous, because to be that famous, you'll also have so many haters. So many gentlemen prefer to avoid the media. My husband told me his intentions. He invited me for dinner and I said, no, let's do coffee, right? So he was from the beginning showing me that he was interested in me as a woman. And my husband treats me like a queen. And this is an example, I know, right, that I can tell you. One thing ladies don't understand is that cuttlefish, with their performative niceness, have the same exact desires and thoughts as masculine gentlemen, as red pill gentlemen, right? So red pill are aggressive, masculine are assertive, but they all want to bonk, for example, and they all think that if you bonk them easily, you're not a Birkin, and if you play the Hermes game and it takes a while to get you, then you're a Birkin and you're the best, they treat you better. So, and we might find this misogynist, but the male hardware is the male hardware, the male software is the male software. Gentlemen are alike. So if you're, this is misogynist, that just means he keeps his mouth open. And the one who's saying, that is a misogynist, well, he might be a cuttlefish. So, for example, right, aggressive men will say, being a single mother is so bad, blah, 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 it's the end of the world. It's not. In Dubai Bling, you see them date very well, and it's not the end of the world. At the same time, a masculine gentleman would say, you know what? You should take care of yourself, because if you have a child that does reduce whether you're a gentleman or a lady, your chances in the dating market, because quite a few people, they're not ready to have children immediately in the relationship and want to get to know you better and then have their own family. So, it's a minus for some people, right? And some people do want to be child-free. The same thing, if you want to be child-free, that also reduces your chances, right? Especially in certain societies, increases it in others. And that's all right? A masculine gentleman would say then you have to work on your looks and presentation and up your chances in other areas. And the red pill one will be like, your life is over, right? And the cuttlefish will say, gentlemen who say single mothers have lower chances are evil and throw rocks. They just want a cheap bonking. So I would ask you to look at what's in it for him. right? That's the most important thing with him. What's in it for me? So, if he is always throwing rocks at your enemy, never offending you, always saying all the things you agree with like he's your twin, I think he just wants something from you. I don't think he's genuine. Or maybe he's a coward and that's how he thinks he can get a relationship out of you. But the problem is, as we'll see with Ibrahim, cowards come with other issues. Cowardly cuttlefish come with a lot of drama, which is why I don't recommend dating the nicest gentleman. You should date someone capable of providing, protecting, and committing. On a basis, date the quiet, nice, shy gentleman. Well, that would be Ibrahim, and we'll see the drama this entails. So, how do you avoid cuttlefish drama with male friends? There are cultures where it's not acceptable to have a male friend because that in itself can create drama. But let's say you're on the spectrum and you're only talking about your masculine hobbies. Well, I have some tips for you. My tips on how not to get bitten by the cuttlefish. Number one, in relationships, if he's so effeminate, he might be mistaken for gay. Do not date him because they don't know how to assert their boundaries properly, so they will cause drama like Ibrahim. Secondly, for friendship, do not keep taking favor after favor after favor, okay? So if, for example, he moves your furniture, right, he helps you move, give him a Starbucks gift card. If you are a student, it can be $15. Give what you can, right? Because you're reciprocating. If you are a professional, maybe you can give him, a Best Buy technology gift card with $50, a restaurant voucher with $100. Find out, what's appropriate given how much, right? So how much you earn, or favor for a favor. He did you a favor, do him a non-intimate favor. Do not accept favors from gentlemen. You will not be able to reciprocate. That's so important because then they will feel that you owe. If you're not going out on a date or something like this, at least send them a thank you note. If you're poor, then maybe bake some cookies, put them in a jar, right? And put a lovely ribbon around it and say thank you so much for helping me move, right? I made some homemade cookies for you, etc. Depending on your budget, reciprocate what you can so he doesn't feel used. Gentlemen like to feel useful, and they'll do a lot more things for their girlfriend or their date or someone they want to have a relationship with that at some point will turn intimate even after marriage, right? So gentlemen will do more things for a lady they're courting, and allowing them to court you and dressing up for the dates is the reciprocity. However, if you're not planning a relationship with them, do reciprocate somehow. Unfortunately, there's so many scam coaches that say, oh, you should rest in your feminine and receive. And this just creates problems. I have a short story on this. One of my ladies was listening to a scam femininity coach and said femininity is about receiving, and so when her grandma died and she felt so sad that her grandmama passed away, her male friend from, I think, the university days or some point in the past wrote to her, how are you? She said, I'm really sad, and so on. And he saw her profile picture that she's become more attractive, and he's become far more wealthier than back then, right? So he said, it's so sad, I would love to fly you on a vacation to make you less depressed, that would make you happier. She said, that's a bit much. He said, no, that's what friends do for each other. I haven't seen you in a while anyway. It will be great to go, to Paris and Maldives together. You'll feel so much better. And let's catch up. So she went with him. He bought her a Chanel bag for her trouble. She thought it was lovely, and they stayed in separate rooms, Don't stay in separate rooms. If you bonked him, go on vacation. If you hadn't bonked him, do not travel with gentlemen you have not been intimate with already. They are buying the hotel because they expect to manipulate you to go into the bedroom. And they will try all sorts of tactics. It will probably happen. You'll probably regret it because it happened too soon. So don't do it. Because they'll be 24/7 trying to think how to do it. They're not even seeing you as a wife. So don't do this, right? Men are men. So he flew her out. He bought her Chanel bag, right? And then when they were in the Maldives, he insisted that, I'm only paying for one room now. Then she's like, what? Like, I paid for you. I got this, $12,000 bag, $10,000 bag. I got this trip. We're in a 5-star resort. We had a fancy vacation in Paris. Why do you think I did this for? You owe me, right? So he pushed her to be intimate with him. And she said, of course not. I'm traditional. I thought you were my friend. He said, if you're traditional, why on earth would you travel with a male friend? And she said, back in school we're besties. He's like, but we've grown up. So ladies, that's why you should be careful and not use gentlemen, right? Always you should reciprocate. Don't take up such a large favor that the only way you can reciprocate it is through physical intimacy or a relationship. So now we tune into Dubai Bling and the relationship between Dania and Ibrahim and how he is a cuttlefish. So in the beginning, he originally dates someone else. So in the beginning, he has a date with someone else, Lujan, a date from hell, and he was not her type. And so she gave him such a hard time, saying, she's used to helicopters and all this stuff. She came across as so rude and off-putting. And then later she met him and she was rather kind to him. But at the same time, he's strictly in her friend zone. She does not see him as a potential life partner. Probably she detected the narcissist in him and thought, absolutely not. Initially, I was really put off by the Lujan character.
في هذا اللحظة قاعد أفكر شو بيكون رد فعلي. قلت تخيل إذا طلعت وحدة أنا أعرفها من قبل. بس بعدين شفت جمالها، حسيت باربي، حسيت لعبة. وأخيراً هاي إبراهيم.
Lujane.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
حاطط فلوري ما استوعبتها.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite colors.
It's peaceful.
أبشع شي حدا نجيب لي هو وردة حمراء. Big X. إنه فيك تجيب كادو هيك just.
It's really nice. Very thoughtful.
في شغلة بحب أقولها عن حالي، أنا غنية وبحب الهدية.
It was a very nice idea إنك تبعت لي الهليكوبتر.
How was it?
I'm used to it. My husband used to have a helicopter, so when we were in Europe, we used to go everywhere.
I hope I met your expectations.
I didn't have expectations.
Okay, good.
بتفرج كل الوقت على شفاف. عم بقول أكيد هيدا مش الديت تبعي ولا.
But when we get to see Ibrahim, we didn't see the full date unfold. So she may have seen some red flags and moved away. But the first date, he comes across straight and masculine, right? Because that's how he thinks he will get her. And he brings roses because that's what his mom tells him. His mother always goes there and interrupts and says she's his first love. So he was raised by a single mother who is emotionally incestuous, coddles him and saying she's his first love. So as a result, he is a narcissist who divorced 4 ladies. And possibly Lujan felt there was something off, right? And thought no. And she has experience, okay. And at the same time, during the date, he came across as masculine, you know, maybe a beta, but he's not the type that you'd say, oh, he's gay, right? Because he was really trying to act masculine because he thought that is what would impress Lujan. Then he started to behave differently with Danya. When he couldn't get Lujan, then he went after Danya. Danya does something you shouldn't do in relationships, and that is she started to complain about the relationship to Ibrahim.
The moment you tell another woman something negative about your wife, you open yourself up for an affair. You open her up to compliment you in a weird way. I cannot tell you how many adulterous relationships started by a man complaining and a woman, oftentimes a coworker, complimenting.
Okay? And that's where it gets tricky, okay? Don't do that. When you complain about your marriage or relationship to other gentlemen, they take it as flirting, and that the only reason you're doing it is because you're clearly into them and you're going to dump him for them. Whereas many ladies, we complain to yap, yap, yap. Whereas gentlemen will only start complaining about their lady in most cases because they're considering actually leaving her, right? Not trying to salvage the relationship. Whereas when ladies complain, they're trying to fix the relationship. And when they stop complaining, that's when they leave. See, gentlemen think ladies are like men, and ladies think gentlemen are like ladies, and that's where we have a lot of confusion. So complaining about your marriage is called flirtation.
Takes away all of my heart and in the night like a thief. She give me love, 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 crazy love. She give me love, 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 crazy love.
Husband to others. So gentlemen know how amazing my husband is. Therefore, no one takes it that I am flirting with them. So Danya is a pick-me and Marwan is awful. One of the themes in Dubai Bling, and if you want, comment below if you want me to elaborate and have a third and last video on it. One of the themes I've seen is the more disagreeable the lady, the better the husband. So the two meanest have the best husbands, and then Lujan has an amazing boyfriend, and the nice girls have the worst ones. One is a DJ, a dusty loser, and the other one is a radio host. Oh my goodness, and they get walked all over, it's awful. So in the beginning, Marwan the DJ, the husband of Danya, he is trying to chase Lujan, right? He has a crush on her, chases her around, forgets his wife, has a secret surprise where he didn't tell anyone, not even his wife. Red flag. that she's going to be in his show, okay? And he neglects his wife, and he's dancing with half-naked dancers. I mean, for the Middle East, right? If he was white, it's the equivalent of dancing with topless dancers at a club. For a DJ in his 40s, married with children, it's not appropriate. Of course, his wife doesn't like it, but she doesn't say anything, you know. And then he gives her a gift, and finally she blurts it out. And he's so immature, and he says, you know, how do I make this go away?
Oh, LJ.
Do you have like a crush on my husband? Like, what is going on? Like,
I brought her a gift. I made a song about her.
Is it just me, or DJ Bliss is actually wearing Allah's necklace inside clubs and music festivals and stuff? Is this even allowed? Is this even halal?
You know, she was romantic. He said, I made a song about her. I gave her a diamond set. And, you know, instead of being grateful, she starts unloading all her complaints. And also, he wanted to dance topless on stage, so he wanted to get surgery to get a six-pack quickly so he can dance on stage. She was so upset about that. So you see her a lot complaining about her husband on the TV series. A lot. That's what she loves to do. Because, you know, he's legitimately awful. And she has her own money because she's from an old money family. So I would have left him. I wouldn't have complained. I would have left. And if I were leaving, he would clean up his act. You don't have to tolerate all this pain for the years. You just say bye-bye. He will clean up. So he started to clean up when he figured 2 seasons Ibrahim was trying to get Dania. The 3rd season, Marwan, DJ Bliss, figures out what he's up to and he wins back his wife. So I think DJ Bliss starts the problem, but then Dania continues it. So they go together in one of the the 2nd episode, I believe. They go to get the ab surgery, right? And DJ Bliss wants to go topless with his surgery, and he said, you know, I regret bringing, you know, my wife with me. I should have just brought Ibrahim. And so, of course, the wife complains that, you know, he's taking his shirt off in front of women and saying that married gentlemen shouldn't do that, so on and so forth. Ibrahim, of course, eggs him on, and Ibrahim says women are jealous. So Ibrahim sees that Dania, you know, and has a rift with her husband, that he just does his own thing, does not care about his wife at all. And so he has a brilliant idea. Why not steal the wife? And if she's Emirati, there's so many business benefits as well. So he's thinking, okay, I will be her friend and see where this goes. And if she complains a lot about him, she'll probably leave him and I'll get married. It's so terrible. And you see him having a crush on her. So when she decides to defend Farhana, so Farhana is socially awkward influencer, and then Farhana says, you know, she's socially awkward taking the camera everywhere, and then Safa, or the zebrafish, attacks her, saying, I don't want to be at paid influencer events. It's racist, it's wrong. And Dania, she's a pick-me, so she tries to say, no, this is not appropriate, you know. And then afterwards, and this is where the drama of white knighting happens. So the next thing is that, you know, there's an event where zebrafish and Safa and Ibrahim are together, and zebrafish and Safa start making fun of the socially awkward influencer Farhan. Oh, she's socially awkward, ha ha ha, everything is sponsored, even the pillows, then why did you go to her event? I mean, they were so rude, right? But, so Ibrahim decided that he will throw rocks at the enemy of Dania so that, you know, he, being a white knight, Dania will reward him and divorce her husband for him and give him a child. So that's the messed up logic of effeminate gentleman. And he has roses everywhere, flowers, because he was taught how to be a man from his mother, so he doesn't know how to be a man at all, so he's very effeminate. He's taught it's Disney and roses and giving ladies roses. He's not taught that masculinity is to provide, protect, commit, and cherish. So he thinks it's white knighting and roses. So you can clearly see how he has a distorted view of what's masculinity, because he's only raised by his mother, who never bothered to show him masculine examples. And his friend is really excellent. Ibrahim's friend Salim, in contrast, he is so calm and masculine, is not catty, right? So Ibrahim, he starts to be trying to white knight for Dania when Safa and Zebrafish start making fun of Farhana the influencer, and he walks away and he calls Farhana and says they're talking behind your back and they're making fun of you and they're saying everything is sponsored, including the pillows. Of course, the influencer Farhana gets so upset, and then the Zebrafish and her friend Safa, they find out and they go to Ibrahim's business.
Did you tell Farhana that after her birthday we talked about her over dinner?
Yes, I did.
What were you thinking?
When someone says something knowing that it's gonna cause trouble.
I felt it wasn't fair for her that you guys were talking about her.
And what do you call that?
It wasn't about that. It's just that you talked about her, so I told her.
By the way, it's a totally different story when you say things to add fuel to the fire.
No.
It is.
Enjoying it.
Of course not. What did I do for them to show up like this and gang upon me? Unacceptable.
Getting out from dinner to pick up the phone and tell them people are talking about you is a bit dramatic. It's dramatic. It's adding fuel to the fire, yes or no? Instead of just saying, guys, Farhana's not here.
Wait, calm down. Safa, she's following Zaina.
Fine. She married a rich guy. She's spending his money and gossiping about people. That's all she does.
If it was you guys on the situation, both of you, and someone talked about you, you're just going to inform each other.
As if it's, yeah.
Like high school girls, right? Like,
what's the big deal? I always say to my employees,
I'm not
problem. You're not my employee, but maybe one day you'll be. I always say to my employees, we know what the problem is, now what's the solution?
To me, what he said was silly and very childish.
You made a problem.
You're the one who talked about it.
You made a problem. You went and told her.
Where is? You're trying to, like, what, you're trying to undermine us now?
Don't put words in my mouth. Don't put words in my mouth. Don't put words in my mouth.
Honestly, you're beneath my level.
Shut up. Did you tell Farhana that after her birthday we talked about her over dinner?
Yes, I did.
What were you thinking?
When someone says something knowing that it's gonna cause trouble.
I felt it wasn't fair for her that you guys were talking about her.
And what do you call that?
It wasn't about that. It's just that you talked about her, so I told her.
By the way, it's a totally different story when you say things to add fuel to the fire.
No.
It is.
enjoying it.
Of course not. What did I do for them to show up like this and gang upon me? Unacceptable.
Getting out from dinner to pick up the phone and tell them people are talking about you is a bit dramatic. It's dramatic. It's adding fuel to the fire, yes or no? Instead of just saying, guys, Farhana's not here.
Wait, calm down. Safa, she's following Zaina.
Fine. She married a rich guy. She's spending his money and gossiping about people. That's all she does.
If it was you guys on the situation, both of you, and someone talked about you, you're just going to inform each other.
As if it's, yeah.
Like high school girls, right? Like,
what's the big deal?
Where they stir up that famous drama scene. So the next thing is that Ibrahim takes his crush to the office of Zebrafish with him. He likes Danya, but this is where I think he really falls for her. And remember, Danya is married to Marwan or DJ Bliss with 2 children, and she married him for love, and he's so immature, and he's like, you know, why should I care about her feelings? Maybe if I kept quiet, I wouldn't have to hear Danya's feelings, right? And he's so immature. So Ibrahim sees this and becomes her knight in shining armor, because he sees how much her husband doesn't care about her. And he decides, so he tells Danya, Danya comes with him. And then he tells he tells Zebrafish, Zenia, whatever her name is, Zaina, Zebrafish. He tells her that he's the company, so he's offering to buy her company, and he's so polite about it. And she, of course, creates a drama and makes a drama queen, because that's what police do. Make a drama how the victim they're hurt, but you know, all their bullying before that, oh, that's normal. I mean, she instigated, and she instigates so many of the fights and tries to get Jonah and LG to fight each other, so she's always up to no good, right? She feels insecure because she works so hard, she doesn't see her children. Anyway, so there she, you know, just starts being so fussy and yelling, and then Danya said there is no rubbish bin, so she puts her coffee on the table, and then Zebrafish takes the coffee and throws it, violently assaulting Danya, and Danya just like knocks it back, you know? And after that incident, which was really awful, Ibrahim gets Danya Cartier. my husband, he saw this bit, he's like, how does husband not slap him for this? You know, that's clearly a romantic gift from Cartier. Okay, so they're affluent, and he got her friendship bracelet from Tiffany's with some friendship trinkets, and she said, you know, we'll get matching bracelets, whatever. I don't know, well, with some trinket, let's, you know, get each other friendship bracelets. This is mine. If you want, for my birthday, you can get me a friendship bracelet because we're besties. That's weird. That's very odd, you know. What's appropriate is to say, I'm so sorry, and get her and her husband and kids a box of chocolates, a large box of chocolates, and say, I'm so sorry for the trouble you went through. So that would be an appropriate gift given that situation. But Cartier is a courtship gift. Everything in Cartier is a symbol of love, right? Under a certain amount. Over a certain amount, it's so expensive that the gift is very forward. It's, I want you. And it's too expensive to reciprocate, so it's a little Cartier box. So, you know, he is clearly showing his intention here, but oh, this is a friendship gift, right? So DJ Bliss does not defend his wife on the yacht much, and he even goes to Zaina, which is wrong. Zaina's husband defends her right or wrong, and she's always lying. So the husband of Danya, the DJ, he goes to see Zebrafish the bully, and he goes to the bully and he said, you know what, if my wife was, you know, 100% right, I wouldn't see you, and if you're wrong, I would apologize. Of course she lied and said, oh, this is an apology, blah blah blah, right? So Zebrafish is such a liar, and he sees the footage that, this woman assaulted his wife, and he invites her friend, who's always defending her. He invites the friend over to the yacht party, his yacht party. So, and his friend, Safa, goes there, because Fahad is friends with DJ Bliss. She goes there and she doesn't, and she says, I'm not talking to Dania. Dania is the host, the wife, the hostess, right? The host's wife is the hostess. If you don't say hi, if this was my yacht and someone would tell me, I'm not saying hi, I would take the yacht, drive it back around, and drop off the couple, and until you have manners, you're gone. Alright, that's so disrespectful. And the husband didn't defend the wife much, just bare minimum, didn't turn back the yacht. And it was Ibrahim the whole time defending Dania, as though Ibrahim was actually Dania's husband, right? And already, if this is going on, it's just not a good dynamic, alright? Then Ibrahim goes around, dresses gay, and starts acting gay, right? It's because he hopes that Marwan doesn't notice. Then another scene we notice is that Salim starts arguing with him. So he wants to have a besties cafe with Daniel. And Salim, he clearly sees their chemistry, and they're always together, they're always hugging, and Ibrahim is always with Dania and her husband. So Salim knows that there's something not halal in this, and he says, no, it's a bad idea, Dania should stay home. And her husband's always not caring about her ambitions, her ideas. He said, no, you should stay home. Who cares that you've cooped up in the home? I need you to be at home, watching the kids so I can have my career. At the same time, he does not consider her feelings at all, alright? And each time, she opens up, he says, I regret I even talked to her. So he thinks he can ignore her feelings. That's her husband. So she married for love, right? And Ibrahim notices this, right? And Salim notices that Ibrahim notices this. And Salim warns him that, you know what? She's a mother, she's a wife, and her first duty is the home, and having this cafe can have a rift in the friendship. And then Ibrahim tries to beat Salim up and starts a physical fight. And Salim was, and he later said he tried his best not to get physical too and to be calm, and he was so shocked at that bizarre reaction. That's not normal reaction. That
تكلمني أنا؟
إيه أنا وسالم كان بينا bad feelings. أنا مزعوج منه هو لأنه تكلم عن دانيا، فأخذت على صوب أريد أصفي هالشيء.
سويت شيء وايد ضايقني صراحة.
ليش؟
يوم كنا قاعدين تكلمت عن حاجة سوى بيني وبين دانيا.
لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله. ردينا على موضوع دانيا اللي ما طاع يخلص.
إذا أنت you care about me as a brother بتقول لي بيني وبينك ليش تقول قدام الكل؟
ما كان الموضوع إني أنا أبغى أحرجك ولا إني يعني مثلا أزعجك. أنا كل موضوع تعرف أنا أبغى أدور على مصلحتك.
عندك مشكلة مع دانيا؟
والله شوف يا أخو إبراهيم أنا خبرتك قبل يعني دانيا أحس إنه ياهل يعني ما تعرف في البزنس شو دراه؟
ياهل شو؟
ياهل. الياهل ينقال للشخص اللي مو بفاهم الجاهل في الموضوع، فلما قلت انا دانيا جاهل يعني هي جاهله في البزنس، يعني ياهل يعني مثلا نقول احنا جاهل.
اخر مره تجيب اسم دانيا بحياتك. اخر مره.
Clearly is a reaction of a man in love. Later on, DJ Bliss references this and says he's the third wheel and is about to say something else, and Ibrahim feels that he's going to be called on it. Said, you're attacking my reputation, and then throws a bunch of stuff.
That's my character. Why do you think I responded? Just because you're a loser. Piece of shit.
And starts a fight because he'd rather have that happen and have that drama than to be called out saying, hey, you're stealing my wife. So in the first and second season where Ibrahim falls for Danya as a woman, you will see him white knighting or defending Farhana in order to try to impress Danya, and also verbally defending Danya in front of the other women, right? Whereas her husband doesn't care to enter between fights between ladies. So obviously that cuttlefish who tried to swim in between Ibrahim, he feels really hurt and betrayed. He feels like he's been led on and used by Danya, who he thought was flirting, only to get her husband jealous and to behave, right? So he has given her the cafe, he got her pregnant, and now they're very much together. So Ibrahim has his revenge, and he reveals her pregnancy. So when they're out at a resort and Danya can show up, there's a choice to do: golf with the girl, with the gentleman, or to kayak with the ladies. And he says golf is boring. So you know this, golf is boring, right? And then he goes and joins the ladies who think, oh, he's gay. And then he reveals the secret. Next, after this, the next thing he does is, Ibrahim does, is when zebrafish and Safa, when they attack Farhana, he takes the side of Safa and Zina, whereas DJ Bliss takes Farhana out of that scenario, and she's just like awkward and hurting herself, so he takes her out. And then DJ Bliss says, basically to push his point, oh, like, why aren't you defending Farhana? And and he says, no, this is the wrong, you're just making the conflict worse, and so on. So, the husband just points that the man trying to steal his wife, is no longer white knighting, right? Because he felt used, right? And later on the secret is told, and Danya's, oh, how did it happen? I feel so betrayed. Maybe there is something wrong with him. No, there's something wrong with you using a gentleman, playing with his feelings, alright? And you can see how, oh, we're besties, we only want to hang out with each other. You can see that, she eggs him, he keeps chasing her, and she eggs him on, right? Like, she can feel that energy, and she doesn't push him away or set boundaries or anything of the sort. Probably complains about the husband, and Ibrahim tries to set a boundary. Says, you cannot complain about me to your husband. Basically trying to set the boundary that he is her husband, right? And he says this daringly in front of her husband, right? That's love, right? It's not appropriate, but that's what that is. And that's what happened before the pregnancy. And, that's when her husband realized, okay, need to get her pregnant, need to get him away, need to fix everything. I don't think you need to bring a child into this world to, do this. He could just apologize and fix the relationship. Everything else he did would have still worked, right? There was no need to bring a child into the world because of an argument. If you wanted that child, that was one thing. And Ibrahim also told Danya he wanted a child. Gentlemen don't tell their platonic female friend they want a child. They tell this to someone they want a child with. Having platonic male friends, we discuss work, we discuss politics, we discuss mutual hobbies and, do things as a group, right? So now that I'm married, it's with my husband, we do things as a group, right? Danya felt so hurt. How dare he tell my secret? Well, how dare you moodle him or use his as a male poodle, right? And have him run around, always white knighting for you, And you know he's effeminate and he's always white knighting. A gay wouldn't do that, right? So you know why he's doing that. It's because he wants you, right? Your gay best friend is not going to fight all your fights. If someone is fighting all your fights, throwing rocks at all your enemies, that's how effeminate cuttlefish flirt. They think that they're doing some kind of a service by virtue signaling to you, to white knight. When you see your male friend keeps doing that, cut that off, because then they'll say, oh, I defended you on the internet, or I said mean words to girls you don't like, therefore you owe me free kitty. No, that's not how it works. Ladies, friendship is having things in common, so use your logic. If you have a masculine male friend, and let's say you both have an interest in storks, there is a chance that you may be able to have platonic friendship, and when you get married, he becomes a friend of the couple, and this can work. Let's say you both studied engineering and went to university together, right? Of course, if you're pretty, some gentlemen, of course, they're men will hit on you. But if he has a girlfriend, you have a boyfriend, he has a wife, you have a husband, and you knew each other since university, and your interest is strictly professional, there is a chance of that working. Of course, there's a chance of him trying to get you, but if he's happy in his marriage, you're happy in your marriage, and you simply talk shop, you never talk relationships. The only time you talk relationships is how happy your marriage is. Okay, there is a very good chance this friendship works, right? But if you have the sort of a friendship where he's always trying to do things for you, that might be a cuttlefish. Be careful. If he's white knighting, virtue signaling, throwing rocks at your enemies, trying to fight your fights, okay, he's doing this because when you're in a real trouble, he will run. Masculine gentlemen aren't out there arguing with other women, defending another woman, right? So in Dubai Bling, you don't see, what you call it, Safa's husband defending Zaina. Zaina's husband, Zebrafish's husband defends Zebrafish, and he's very loyal. And then Safa's husband is amazing, but he lets Zebrafish's husband defend Zebrafish, and he defends his wife, right? So they don't go and randomly defend other ladies. They defend their lady, right? That they're in a relationship with, right? So there is no defense of a third lady. Well, Farhana is a third lady, right? So the DJ only starts to defend her when he realizes this is how he gets her back from cuttlefish, his wife back from the cuttlefish. The problem is Danya is too much of a pick-me to be able to stand up to Zebrafish on her own, so she relies and uses the cuttlefish as a moodle or male poodle to do her bidding, because, she's too weak to stand up on her own, and that creates drama. So ladies, if someone is white knighting, then one day they'll say, oh, can you give me the mercy, BJ? Don't fall for that. So if he's, let's say, supporting all your political views, but there is nothing in these views that has something in it for gentlemen. So let's say you're a feminist. What's in it for gentlemen to be feminist? Especially the modern woke version. Nothing at all. Or let's say you're woke. What's in it for gentlemen to support that? Nothing at all. So if you're conservative, well, he gets a wife who respects him, who has a low body count, who is feminine for him, pleasant. So there are lots of benefits to a gentleman being conservative, and you have a mutual benefit of provide, protect, commit, cherish. So that's understandable that you both benefit and both of you conservative. But, if he's virtue signaling, let's say you like, I don't know, Taylor Swift or some Sabrina Carpenter, whatever, some girly artist, Mariah Carey, whatever you like. Let's say he starts liking these things, right? He starts copying whatever you like. That's not a real man, right? Real gentlemen have their own identity. So be careful among male friends, especially if they're not masculine. They can be very spiteful, because being a cuttlefish is not a very effective strategy to get laid. So they can be very angry and hurt you, so be careful out there. And thank you so much. Please hate or like, subscribe, and comment below what you found the most interesting, and if you want me to do an end to the series about why the bad girls in the series have the best husbands and the nice pick-me's have the worst. Ciao! Don't forget to comment.